Are you one of the chosen ones? These 3 signs prove it. I am sorry to have to tell you this, but not everyone is chosen by God. If you think that everyone is, you might be wrong. Only those who have these 3 characteristics are truly chosen. Do you have them? Today I am going to reveal to you whether God has destined you for something greater. Pay attention, because the 3rd characteristic is the definitive confirmation. Stay until the end. Many people think that being chosen means living a simple life, full of blessings and without problems. They think that if God is with you, everything should work out, that you should never feel lost or rejected. But if you have truly been chosen by God, why isn't your life easier? Why do you face so many difficulties? It's because God's chosen ones are subjected to trials. God doesn't choose those who have the easiest path, but those willing to go through the fire to be transformed by Him. When God chooses someone, He first prepares them. If you've felt this way, facing endless trials, pay attention. This is the first sign that you are one of the chosen ones. Ordinary people see difficulties as problems, while the chosen ones see them as preparation. If your life has been full of obstacles, if you have had to struggle more than others, it is not a coincidence. It is part of the process. Trials are not a sign that God has forgotten you, but a sign that He is strengthening you. If this resonates with you, if you have had times when you thought about giving up, but something inside of you pushed you to keep going, there is a reason. God is molding you and preparing you for something greater. Every challenge you have faced is a stepping stone in your spiritual growth. God does not allow trials without a purpose, as each one is a lesson that brings you closer to the person He wants you to be. Like a sculptor working with precision, God is sculpting your life, removing what doesn't serve and bringing out your true essence. Sometimes this process can be lonely. The chosen ones often feel isolated because their path is different from that of others. However, that isolation is necessary. In those moments of solitude, God speaks to you, strengthens you, and teaches you to depend completely on Him. But there is a deeper sign, one that you feel deep inside, even when you try to ignore it. It is a call that burns in your heart, a certainty that you cannot explain, but that you know is there. Stay, because the second sign will reveal to you something that has always been inside you, something that has been waiting for the perfect moment to manifest in your life. Since you were little, something about you made you feel different. Maybe you never felt completely part of the world around you, while others followed their path without question. You felt there was something more, something you didn't understand yet. It's that inner drive, that need to search for answers, that feeling that you were created for something bigger. God's chosen ones feel a fire within them, a calling that drives them towards something beyond the material. It is a persistent whisper, a longing that does not go out, even when you try to ignore it. Some try to put out that fire with distractions, living an ordinary life, but they cannot, because God does not choose those who feel ready, but those He knows can fulfill His purpose. If you have felt that there is something more for you, something that calls to you even in your moments of doubt, then this is one of the clearest signs that God has chosen you. Not everyone will understand your path. Sometimes, even the people closest to you don't understand the unrest you feel inside. You may have noticed that life has taken you down unexpected paths, that opportunities that seem safe have closed, and that easy paths have disappeared. But this is not a mistake. God often uses unconventional routes to guide His chosen ones to their destiny. Looking back, you realize that each detour had a purpose. If, despite your fears and doubts, there is something inside you that drives you to keep going, don't ignore that voice. It's God speaking to you, guiding you, and confirming that you are on the right path. But there is one more sign. The third sign is the ultimate proof. It confirms beyond a doubt that God has chosen you. Sign number 3. The world rejects you. God's chosen people never quite fit into this world. If you've always felt like you're different, you may have tried to fit in, to follow the path of others and be like them. But something inside you is holding you back. It's no accident. When God chooses you, the world tends to reject you, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your purpose is different. Rejection isn't a sign that you're lost. It's a sign that you're being set apart for something greater, something. If you have ever felt alone, misunderstood, or out of place, it is not because you do not belong in this world. It is because you have been called to something higher. It is no coincidence that the most influential people in history, those who have made a difference to humanity, have been misunderstood, judged, or persecuted. The chosen ones walk a lonely path, not because God wants them to suffer, but because their path is different. They are not meant to follow the crowd, but to lead by example. Sometimes this means losing friendships, relationships, or opportunities that seemed important. But God never takes something away without reason. Every loss is one more step toward God's purpose. If you feel like you don't fit in, that despite your efforts to adapt, the world doesn't accept you, don't see it as a curse. It's confirmation that you've been set apart for something greater. You're not here to be like everyone else. You're here to shine God's light, to be a beacon in the darkness and fulfill the purpose for which you were created. And that is the final confirmation. God has chosen you. And even though the world may not understand it, your mission is greater than any earthly rejection. Many, upon recognizing these signs in their lives, ask themselves, what now? God's choice is not the final destination, but the beginning of a process that requires faith, patience, and courage. Being chosen doesn't mean that everything will be easy. It means that God has a plan, and that in His perfect time, He will fulfill it in your life. So if you identify these signs on your path, don't despair, don't doubt, and above all, don't give up. Trials are not punishments. They are preparation. That call in your heart is not a coincidence. It is God speaking to you. God has already chosen you. Now it is your turn to respond to His call. If you have experienced these 3 signs, and if you want to leave a comment telling us what your signs were, it will be a pleasure to share it with everyone. Trust, keep going, and get ready, because the best is yet to come.